marathon. It is a quite extensive one with a lot of little sprints along the way. So giving you 5 evidence-based practices that you can apply anywhere at any time that boosts your well-being and, importantly, your performance on the trail. And then we'll talk immediate next steps. Oh, fabulous. Thanks, everyone, for letting me know that you can hear me. So a bit about me. I mentioned that I'm a former government affairs specialist. I started my career doing public health policy campaigns in 25 states across the country. I'm from California, but I was in the Midwest, in the South, and Alaska, and Wyoming, places that are geographically and politically very, very different from where I'm from. Oh no. Oh no, I couldn't hear you. Sorry, Sarah. Okay, thanks. Sorry, everyone. We're just doing some dual communication. And I was running campaigns. I was doing campaign trainings, coalition building, coaching elected officials, drafting public policy, and then once legislation was passed, translating them into educational materials and working with government agencies to effectively educate and inform primarily the business community of how to comply. That was also simultaneously, I got really involved in local politics. I got very active in our women's political caucus, which endorses and trains women running for political office, and also in my local political club. I showed up, I delivered results, and what tends to happen is then you elevate into leadership positions very, very quickly. And what ended up happening on the outside, I was overwhelmingly successful. But on the inside, I was just burning out. I was flaming out and found myself waking up despite doing what I was so passionate about, feeling kind of like this, worn out and dreading the day. So simultaneously, what was happening was I was also progressively nearing a bottom in what was mounting to be a 15-year-old eating disorder that really ruled me and controlled me and kept me from being authentic and whole. And I ended up hitting a really bad bottom. I remember it very vividly. My husband was sleeping in the other room, and I remember looking in the mirror thinking to myself, what is happening? I will lose everything, professional success, loving marriage, if I don't take my recovery seriously. So there was an amazing confluence of events. I was slated to go on sabbatical and went on sabbatical, moved to London to earn my master's in organizational and social psychology. And while I was there, I really had the time and the space to think about who I was and what made me tick. Now, this was 2012, and that was a major presidential election. It was also the first time in a decade I wasn't involved in a political campaign in some capacity, a volunteer, a campaign operative, or a grass tops leader. And although I saw that not everyone there was struggling from an eating disorder, that many people that cared most deeply about the civic space had a hurdle, something that got in their way from them showing up as their best selves. So I had an aha moment. Actually, while I was walking around the perimeter of Hyde Park, I lived in Notting Hill in London, and realized that I wasn't meant to lobby anymore. I was meant to listen, quit my job, and became an internationally certified leadership coach, hell-bent on bringing well-being to the political class, and have been doing that ever since for the past 6 years. So when I returned to the United States in January 2013, I started diving deep into literature. I was studying the neurosciences, how the brain operates, with the social sciences, how we interact with one another, and the behavioral sciences, our motivations and needs and desires. And I was blending them with best practices from political intelligence and authentic leadership, mindfulness practices, and even elite athleticism, thinking, what would Stephen Curry do? Or what would Kobe Bryant do in these situations? And ended up blending them together into these accessible, and when I say accessible, I mean they can be applied anywhere at any time in your day-to-day, ranging from 16 seconds to 15 minutes to take. That boosted performance, and what I found, an elevated set of essential skills that strikingly mirrored that of an elite athlete. And there are these 5 things: a focused mindset or a growth mindset, really the perspectives and the ways in which we look at the world through curiosity and opportunity, endurance It's kind of funny that I have a car there. The ability to take ongoing, small, and sustained action to achieve a goal of substance. Really a heartfelt vision, what your unique vision and aspiration and image of the future is, and you would like it to be. Fierce courage, the ability to walk through fear with vulnerability, through uncertainty, and to dare greatly. And then so importantly, self-care, really taking the time and creating space and engaging support for those mini breaks in the day-to-day of political life to really refuel. So I started doing these Tabatas, right, with candidates and C-suite campaign operatives on the gubernatorial and national level. I had the deep honor of working with the men and women of our Pentagon and even with US secretaries and parliamentarians, and we saw really transformative effects. There was a parliamentarian. She was a newly elected young female parliamentarian who elevated into a chairmanship or a chairwomanship of her committee. And she saw that it was operating in a slightly dysfunctional way. Through the power of visualizations used very similarly to Olympians and elite athletes, she gained clarity and was able to compellingly persuade her colleagues to come forward with an innovative change to the structure. A public servant who had fierce public speaking anxiety. Through powerful breathing and simple breathing exercises, she was able to speak compellingly and with calm, coolness, and collectedness. And then finally, a mayor who had lost his way. Through the power of just simple questions, reconnected with that motivating vision that inspired him into public service. And all of these just take a matter of moments. So we're going to try some of these today. But first, so I've been working with elected officials and civil servants and candidates and operatives in this way, one-on-one and trainings and group capacities, and we were seeing different effects. Really, again, training for our democracy. And things really came to a head last year. Like many of you, I was watching, the ticker go up with these women just filing and running for office, just going up and up and up and up and up and tick, 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 tick. And I was thinking, this is like a really big deal. This is a really big deal. We need to do something really empowering and inspiring to commemorate this. For I don't actually know if any of us on this call were really part of the last year of the woman in 1992. And then it just stopped, and we didn't want that to happen again. So looking at science, looking at what we also know anecdotally, we needed to do something inspiring and energizing and unifying. We also know that evidence shows when people come together and just connect as people, it reduces political polarization. And we're living in a time in America where the gap between those that identify as conservative and liberal is continuing to span farther and farther apart for a variety of reasons. We also know that our performance increases when we take care of ourselves. Healthy bodies, healthy minds equals healthy societies. And then we also know that community health improves when there's more women in elected office. In addition to they're more effective, they tend to be more collaborative and pass more legislation. So we got to be in there. So we have to do something. And then it came, whether running a 5K, the physical act of running, or running toward election day, it takes a growth mindset, physical endurance, heartfelt vision, fierce courage, and care. So we created the Courage to Run. And I'm delighted that Ignite was a part of it from the beginning last year. And we've actually built our coalition of more than 30 organizations now that are all training and championing the next generation of political leaders like yourselves in partnership to celebrate women, to cheer one another on, to finish strong, and importantly, to be healthy, to lead effectively through our ultra marathon of democracy. So just a really quick overview of what we created together last year in 3 short months. We had politicos, and I know that the Maryland chapter was front and center. We had you all talking with the press, and had a great presence in Washington and DC. And then additionally, when we were reaching out to all the candidates that were running for Congress and governor and tax commissioner of the state, they said, Frieda, this is a great idea, but I kind of need to be campaigning in my district. It's like, Oh my gosh, of course you do. So we created a community option or a virtual option where you could run solo, you could form a team, you could create a large scale event and unite your community. And it was truly inspiring to see what happened. People participated in 25 different states, and the stories really varied. In California, a candidate used it as a volunteer mobilization to bring people together and as a means of thanks. In Seattle, a group of women operatives and advocates banded together with their young girls. And we know that women that participate in college sports have a 25% increased likelihood of participation in politics. Vanessa Enoch, who's in the middle, the lower middle, who ran for Congress and would have been the first, not only Black woman, but woman to represent Ohio 8. She said, Frieda, I am not a runner. So what did she do? She turned hers into a woman's door-to-door canvas, bringing people together, getting active, and having a good time. And then Chrissy Houlihan, who's now one of the first 4 women delegation of Pennsylvania and who's participating again this year, similarly used it as a team building event to release pre-election jitters and to bring people together. A group of candidates in Wyoming, Republican, Democrat, all ran together. Sheriffs, commissioners, mayors, statewide legislators, school board members, all candidates as a sign of unity and what healthy leadership looks like. And it was truly inspiring. So we're doing it again. We had a Kids Dash for Democracy as well, because we know that democracy is a family affair. And then every aspect of the event, from ideation to curation and co-organization, is really here to boost your performance and increase and make you feel really good too. So we have, when you register, you say what your campaign theme song is, and we are creating a playlist. We know that when we listen to music that's upbeat, it makes us feel good. It releases a hormone in our bodies called oxytocin that builds trust and also makes us feel good. It's also called like the love hormone. And if you are in a team, if you listen to the same song, it also creates a sense of shared identity and unity amongst your team. So choose a really good, fun, upbeat campaign theme song when you're running for office. Signs were amazing. And then, of course, very importantly, medals. So we're on to the next. So are you all ready for the tabatas? We have 5, and they're all quick and fun, and they can be applied anywhere at any time. So this is highly interactive, and the way this will work is I'll walk you through each of them. You'll have the slide deck. We'll send you the PDF. I'll talk to Sarah to make sure that you have these. And importantly, also, one thing at the end that's also available online on the website at couragetron.org, there's a 5K training plan, whether you're running the 5K physically or toward election day, that have a bunch of these tabatas that you can start integrating into your day-to-day, all that boost well-being and your performance. So when we think about mindset, like a growth mindset, there's 2 types of mindsets that psychologists talk about. There's a fixed mindset, like you're closed, like no, it has to be this way. We get stuck in this way, and it's like over attachment to a one way of being. Ideas of perfectionism which can be really really challenging. I know that I call myself kind of like a recovering perfectionist, right? And so what that ends up doing is closing us off to what's possible, rather than getting curious, asking questions, and making tweaks and iterations and experimenting, which is a growth mindset. So when it comes to politics, just like the physical act of running, it can be like the most empowering, rewarding experience ever. Or it can like suck. And you're like, my knee hurts, or this meeting is going so long. And often it's defined by our state of mind, our mindset, the view in which we're looking at things with curiosity and opportunity. So a really quick Tabata, super easy hack. If you find yourself stuck or indecisive, maybe you're feeling scared or confused in any given situation, think of something that's happening to you right here, right now. Maybe a conversation with a teacher, a colleague, a class project that you're feeling a little tangled with. And just ask yourself these 3 powerful questions. You can open up a note on your app, on your phone, an app. You can get an old school pen and paper. You can start an email to yourself. Just make sure it's in drafts and it's to you in the subject line. And just ask yourself these questions. What can I control with the situation? What can't I control? And then look at what you can control and take one specific and meaningful action. One of the things that causes so much stress for us, especially in politics, is uncertainty. We get stressed out when we have no control of the outcome, when there's no foreseeable end, when there's a lack of communication, and when there's no healthy release. So we're really trying to create some certainty and clarity amid uncertainty. And through the act of taking action, it releases some dopamine, which activates the reward system parts of our brain and makes us feel better, as well as we're progressing forward and we're not stuck. So really simple. What can I control? What can't I control? And then what specific action? If you want to be very measured with your time, just set a timer for 1 minute for each of those questions and then move on. So with this one, this is going to be a breath exercise. So I'm going to facilitate it, and I invite all of you to just close your eyes, and it's a mindfulness practice. So mindfulness, all mindfulness is present moment awareness, free of judgment and with curiosity and compassion, meaning we're being nice to ourselves. And often when people are learning mindfulness, we focus on our breath because it's an easy target. Like it's an easy thing to focus on because we're always breathing. So just get comfortable. You can kind of adjust how you're sitting and put your feet firmly on the ground. And close your eyes, put your hands somewhere that feels comfortable for you. That could be in your lap, by your sides. And just connect with the inhale and exhale of your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Now this time as you breathe in, keep your eyes closed. Think of a word or phrase that describes you uniquely as a political leader. And as you breathe out, what you inspire in your community. So breathing in you as an intentional, powerful political leader. And as you breathe out, what you uniquely inspire in your community. And just repeat those words on the inhale and exhale a few times. Now, I want you to keep your eyes closed and just stay in this space and see yourself on a stage, in front of a crowd, sharing your motivating vision for public service. And just look around, see where you are and who's around you. Listen to the buzz of the crowd. Maybe they're cheering something. What are they saying? That campaign song's playing. What is it? And you hold that microphone and you look out into the crowd and you open your mouth and you speak. And you share your vision. What do you say? What else? You scan the crowd and you make eye contact with one person and they're nodding their head. Something you said really resonated with them, connected with them, moved them. What was it? And you're wrapping up your thoughts, leaving them with a golden nugget and an action about why you're here and what you will create together. And you thank them for their commitment and their belief in their companionship. And then again, breathe in deeply that word that describes you uniquely as a political leader. And breathe out what you inspire in your community. And when you're ready, just wiggle your fingers and your toes and open your eyes and welcome back. So this was kind of a combination of two different Tabatas. One, that first simple breathing exercise, the breathing in that word that describes you and breathing out your inspiration, is called me for we. You know, leadership and political leadership is the ability to inspire collective action toward a shared goal. And if you ever find yourself getting a little amped up or retracting or freezing up, just take a moment and breathe in your words and exhale your inspiration words a couple times and see where you are. And you can always return to this for clarity and to build your endurance, to keep you on track and to keep you motivated on what it's about. And the same thing with the MVP. Just like an MVP on a basketball team, our motivating vision, our purpose for being in politics is always there and reliable. So you can draw upon this visualization and find like a talisman or a tchotchke or a picture. Take a photo with your cell phone and keep it as your screensaver of something that really inspires and represents this motivating vision. And if you ever need kind of a reboot, you just literally look at it. What happens is when we do visualizations, elite athletes do this all the time, like visualize the goal, you know, you're making the basket and you're putting the basket in the hoop. Is it actually the process of doing it over and over again activates 75% of the visual cortex in our brains. So our bodies it's almost like we're going through the physical act of something itself, and it's priming us to be there. So if you have a big event or a speech or an endorsement meeting or you're fundraising or knocking on doors, you can just visualize it, and it's almost like a dress rehearsal, if you will. So those are two little trick Tabatas that are actually some of the most popular. So another one, this is really easy, is standing up and striking a pose, a confident pose, like a Wonder Woman pose, and just breathing in deeply. You can breathe in your me for we words. You can say a personal mantra, something really positive like I'm strong or I got this, and repeat it to yourself for 2 minutes. Now, studies show that people that power pose for 2 minutes ended up, when they went into interview, outperformed those who didn't, and it really boosted confidence and motivation. So if you're finding yourself needing to leverage fierce courage, this is a good one to do. You can go into the bathroom, you can go into like a closet of your car, just making sure that your physical posture is strong. You could also go on a walk, get your body moving a bit and say it in your mind. There are several trainers that study psychology as well with a form that's called intensati. And basically what they do, a neuroscientist at NYU teaches a class about this, where moving your body, we're kind of increasing some endorphins and saying these positive messages to yourself boosts performance and well-being. So it's a fun one in terms of increasing motivation and increasing your courage. If you tend to be a fleer in terms of your stress response, some of us fight, we get aggressive, we want to start a fight. Some of us flee, we want to get out of Dodge. Some of us freeze, we're like, get me out of here. And others of us get impulsive, we fire up, we got to do something right now. If you're the type that tends to freeze or tends to flee, this is a really good one to kind of boost your energy and get you in the zone. And then finally, there's a mindful minute exercise. So we will do this together. I'll keep time, and it just takes a minute. This is by far the most popular Tabata that with political leaders that I work with at all levels, because it only takes a minute to do. So again, get in your comfortable position and connect with the inhale and exhale of your breath. And all you're going to do is count your breaths on the exhale. So, for example, breathing in, exhaling 1, breathing in, exhaling 2, and so on. And if you notice your mind wandering, it's totally cool. That's what our minds do. They wander, they're curious. Just bring your attention back to the inhale and exhale of your breath. So breathing in and begin. Counting your breaths on the exhale for 1 minute. You can't really hear it. That's time. It's my silly little jingle, my sencha ring. So just note how many breaths you took. And at any point, at any time you feel yourself revving up or revving down or freezing or firing up, just pause and count your breaths that many times on an exhale. Because the truth is you may end up doing exactly what you were doing before, but it's coming from a more balanced place. Just as a point, this is not being shared as an intention of like a right or wrong, good or bad. There really is no answer for that. Roughly 4 to 6 breaths per minute will actually neutralize our nervous system. So if we're getting really anxious or really aroused, like overexcited, I have my dog here, so I'm thinking about the primal language, then that will kind of moderate it. Another way of looking at it is using your me for we and breathing in that word that describes you as a political leader for 6 seconds, holding your breath for 4, and then exhaling your inspiration word out for 6 seconds. And that's about 16 seconds, which is roughly 4 to 6, breaths per minute. And it'll get you back into that state of homeostasis. So these, my friends, are 3 tabatas that you have. I never actually explained what a tabata is. I'm so sorry. So what a tabata is it's a Japanese term for circuit training. So circuit training, I don't do HIIT or any of those, so I can't really speak to it. But circuit training are short, really short, high intensity workouts, right? That take anywhere from 15 seconds to 1 minute, and you do them repetitiously. You do lots of sets with them, and then they increase your strength and endurance. So just like those in the physical sense, these tabatas, the more we do them, the more with time, the stronger that competency or that strength becomes for us. So 3 powerful questions. What do I control? What don't I control? And then within what I can control, what will I do? Me for we, inspiration, drawing upon your MVP, and importantly, remember, get that inspirational picture, put it on your phone, take a look at it for a couple minutes when you're caught in indecision, you're just getting a little off course and need to reground in what your purpose is. Power up, stand in that power pose, or similarly, listen to your campaign theme song. Very importantly, very, very, very importantly, the song you choose really has to be upbeat and positive. If it's kind of a neutral song, I don't know what would, like maybe like a classical music, or it's kind of depressing, like maybe I love Adele, but she has some like really depressing songs, then it'll have the counter effect and it'll just put you in like even a worse mood. So definitely has to be positive. And then your mindful minute to boost your self-care. So these and many, many, many others are part of our campaign, our 5K training plan that builds mental, physical, and leadership skills to be successful for training for the democracy and running for office. And you'll see a number of the ones we just did are here in addition to others. These are on the website, couragetorun.org. You can just download it. And I invite you all to also get involved. This year's Courage to Run is April 13th in Washington, D.C. and in communities across the country. There are teams that are forming in states all around the USA. I know we have even college campuses that are getting involved, and I have the great fortune of working with St. Mary's College, for example, and their gender and politics class is taking this on as their class project, and Ignite is leading the way. This makes me so proud. Or start a team. So all the information is online on our website. There is a student and emerging rate. We don't want there to be inhibition of anyone participating, and that includes your race t-shirt and your bib and your medal and access into the event, and that's just $20. And we also have a code, a special discount code if you need additional support, and would love for you all to get involved. So Sarah, I know that we had some problems with sound earlier. I don't know if people have questions. We are at time, so want to honor everyone. But I just want to thank you so deeply from the bottom of my heart for all of your leadership, your championship, your courage for stepping forward and being involved with Ignite and being the future leaders of our democracy. So for you, I am tremendously grateful and I salute you. So thank you.